Okay, we're on to the spine now. And the spine, there's a lot going on. Obviously, there are 24 joints in the spine. And really, what we want to make sure that all of those joints are moving, particularly in flexion and extension, the best that we possibly can get them to. So, a lot of people like the Viper for this. I think the back is in general a nicer area to roll. It seems like everybody that walks into a gym grabs a foam roller and starts rolling their back, even if they don't need to. But the Viper feels really nice, the percussion on the back, and a lot of us have tension in this area, so it's nice to feel that vibration and soothe the muscles a bit. I really like the IntelliRoller because of this little valley and then the ridges on either side. So your spinous processes of your spine, the pokey parts of your spine, they will go right into that groove so that you can get into the paraspinal muscles on either side of your spine. And the other thing I really like is these wedges that you can get these in our Amazon store as well. And so you really can get the distraction or relative motion between vertebrae with this, but this is not for the faint of heart. If you're tender using something like a foam roller, this might be too intense for you. And it's best with these to have somebody show you in person first. If you have any disc issues or anything, I probably wouldn't go to something like this. And for your low back, it's not ideal either because, for the most of us, the low back it might be even a little bit too mobile because the low back is designed to be more of a stable region. And because our hips and our thoracic spine don't move as much, a lot of times our lumbar spine moves too much, so we don't want to influence more of that. If you have a really, really healthy spine, this can be really effective. And the way it works is you just lie on your back and you pick a section. The ramp part is facing the tailbone, and then you can just soften up the tissue by rocking and getting in there. And then when you feel like it, you can lie all the way down. You can push into it more by bringing your ribs down. And if you have really sticky areas, the wedge really isolates between each vertebrae. So you can get in there to the deeper structures, maybe even multifidi, a little bit better than some of the other stuff. And to get in deeper, you would go into flexion and fall in there. Now with the roller, it's not gonna be as specific, but we can explore a lot more efficiently. And then when you find an area, you can go into some movement and go side to side. If we're having any rotational issues or any spine movement issues, we do want to explore those tissues and make sure we do whatever we can to calm them down. And then when we go into our correctives, it'll be a little bit more free that way. You can work the tissues of the spine a little bit safer if you stay to the side. So we don't want the low back to move too much, but we do need freedom. And remember, the lat also moves all the way down to the pelvis. So we want to make sure that we're covering that entire muscle. And then also we have the freedom around the pelvis. And a lot of us, when we have, flared ribs, for example, we have a little bit of a hypertonicity in some of the lateral structures, like the QL and maybe even the psoas. We're not going to get to the psoas here, and there's some debate on whether or not we actually can palpate the QL from the backside. But if we can get a little bit of pressure in there, we can get the feedback from, remember, this is about feedback. It's not necessarily changing the tissue quality like I would be able to do with my thumb. But we get the feedback, and with the feedback, we can feel what's going on with the structures a little. So for the QL and the paraspinals, we would stay to the side of the spine. You're not going up onto your rib, you're just staying to the side of the spine. And then you're gonna try to breathe well. And as you inhale, you should feel the expansion into whatever tool you're on. This is gonna help the diaphragmatic breathing, the intra-abdominal pressure. It'll give you access to more of your cylinder so that you can breathe better. We can try to laterally flex a little bit by bending the opposite direction, and that'll open up those tissues even more. And I have a lot going on in here. I mean, most of us will feel what's tender right away. We can go right up against the spine, and then we can flex and extend the spine, and we can laterally flex. Again, you can see me shaking. Most of us need this sort of stuff, but in particular, if you're noticing you're having trouble with your breathing, definitely give this a shot and make sure you're using your breath to free the tissues up. Okay? Hope that helps.